Yo, here to talk about the most anticipated movie of the year,
Joker.
Joker. Mid as fuck. No, I'm kidding.
That trailer looks pretty good though.
It does look good.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like the first Joker. No, we're actually here to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. We've been waiting for this movie for a while.
2 years.
2 years. I remember actually when he sent me the video of Ryan Reynolds announcing Hugh Jackman coming back, and we were both like, no way. We were very excited. And the movie's finally here. What did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine? Because I've been seeing this movie get a lot of different reactions, and we kind of know what each other's opinions is, but what did you think of this movie?
I enjoyed this movie as a fan
Me too.
of X-Men, as a fan of growing up with Fox.
Yeah.
In the 2000s, they ran the superhero movies more or less for Marvel. I enjoyed my watch.
Yes. I also... Oh,
the
sorry.
afterthought of movie. The movie as a whole is not as good as I thought or would want it to be, but it surely is a good fan experience.
I have the same opinion. I like this movie a lot as a Marvel gooner. I got what I wanted from this movie, but this movie's kind of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a mess. Story is... Sometimes it just makes no sense.
It seems so unfocused.
It is,
at
yeah, that's a
certain
great
times.
way to put it. It's very unfocused. The pacing is kind of off. The worst part of this movie, I would say, is the story. The story of this movie is really like flat and just almost non-existent sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I still really enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna do something different. I'm just gonna give my rating right now. I would give this movie a 7. It's closer to an 8 than a 6 because there are moments in this movie that are really satisfying. This movie's hilarious. Not as funny as the first Deadpool movie, but funnier than the second one.
Really?
Yeah. The second one has some pretty bad jokes in it.
I actually think this. I think the first Deadpool is the better overall movie,
Yeah.
but I think the second one, not better than the first one, has funnier jokes in it.
Yeah. The second one has some great stingers. Yeah, so what would you give this movie from 1 to 10?
I agree with you. A 7 out of 10. I don't know if I put it over 1 or 2 Deadpool, because in a lot of ways, it doesn't feel like a Deadpool movie, but it is. Does that make sense?
It feels like an MCU
Like, it doesn't feel
movie.
like a continuation of the first two, which I guess it's
No.
not trying to be because it's now in the MCU.
None of the side characters in the first 2 Deadpool movies get anything to do,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of maybe his girlfriend.
Right.
But at the same time, she's more of a plot device than a character in this, and she kind of was in the second one too. Actually, in the first one, she is too. She's always been that, but in this movie, she really is just nothing but motivation for Wade. This movie's more about the MCU, Fox, Marvel. We're not going to spoil anything yet.
I was gonna say, I feel like this movie tries to be too many things, and that's why maybe
Yeah.
it's unfocused.
Yeah,
They definitely do put fan service over storytelling in this movie.
I think No Way Home handled fan service better than this movie.
And you know what? Maybe that's just a multiverse thing.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm starting to notice now the more multiverse movies we get,
they
the
kind
less I like them.
of all follow the same beats.
Mm-hmm. Which maybe is not doing it for me.
Yeah,
Like the best multiverse movie I can think of, that's I guess comic book based, not like everything,
yeah.
is probably Spider-Verse, which is weird.
Yeah.
Sony of all things that doesn't make good shit.
yeah. All right, so after dealing with some situations, nothing serious, but some technical difficulties, we're back. Anyways, we're talking about this movie. We're talking about how the story, the pacing's not great.
Like this video.
Like this video. This is the worst video I've ever made. I just want to say that I don't know if I already said this, but the Void is a very uninteresting location. That's where we spend a lot of the movie, and it's just not very interesting to look at. It's kind of ugly, and I guess that's the point. But it's just, I don't know. I wish we spent the movie, like, at least most of the movie somewhere else.
Like, this movie doesn't have great set pieces.
No. Some of the color grading is kind of bad. This movie kind of looks odd. The lighting is weird in some scenes. I know that's a nitpick, but, like, I don't know. But, yeah, let's just get into spoilers. But before we do, I like this movie. I have some issues with it. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. It's fun for what it is. Go see it with a crowd. You'll have a good time. And yeah, it's okay to like movies like this. I know film Twitter's trying to convince you that this is the death of cinema, but it's okay to like a movie like this, all right?
Okay, before we get to spoilers, I have one question to ask you.
Me?
Does this movie put the MCU back on track?
No, because we have fucking Agatha, the show, after this.
I think that's maybe everyone's big question. Is Marvel back?
No, because it's not really an MCU movie.
No, it's not really a Deadpool movie.
But it's more of a Deadpool 3 than an MCU movie, I feel.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I feel like this movie kind of went overboard with its comedy. Like, especially with the, I think, because, like, oh, it's R rating and it's Disney. I think they kind of went a little overboard with the swearing. Like, more swearing.
Really? I thought this movie was like way tamer than the first two.
Really?
Yeah. It was just as violent, but I just felt like
it was so unnecessary. I don't know, maybe it's just Wolverine. I'm not used to him.
Wolverine swore a lot.
Swearing a lot.
He swears more than Deadpool in this movie,
Yeah,
surprisingly.
But I feel like it was unnecessary. Like, that doesn't equal more comedy.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't put this movie over the first two Deadpools, but that doesn't make it a bad movie.
I put this over the second one. The second one's not bad. It's just okay.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay,
this movie made me laugh more than the second
one.
You
take away the cameos and fan service. How good is this movie?
It's still good. It's still got Deadpool and Wolverine. It's got good action.
Yeah, but
it's funny.
I feel like they put that over the storytelling.
I feel that way, just not as much. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into spoilers.
Okay.
If you haven't seen the movie or you just don't care, then do whatever you gotta do. But anyways, so big spoiler. I know people expected this, but I'm not in this movie. I know it was really speculated upon release. I'm not in it. I would have loved to be in it, but I had some other commitments, and let's just be real, they couldn't afford me. But they got some other lesser stars in the movie who really needed it more than I do, so good for them. But no, it's a joke.
What was the first cameo?
First cameo was Happy Hogan.
Yeah.
Who was Foggy Nelson in Daredevil.
Did he look CGI too?
He looked younger. It was weird. I was like,
I know Jon Favreau looks a lot fucking older.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm used to seeing him like with facial hair.
Yeah, and gray hair.
Yeah. They must have, they put on a lot of makeup to make him look younger. And, yeah, so one of the funniest sequences in the movie is the sequence where Deadpool is going around time trying to find different Wolverine variants, and you see one that's like comic accurate because he's 5'4", he's short, he's a little fucking man baby thing.
Should've just got Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I was okay. So another variant we see is Henry Cavill, and when they were hiding his face, I was fully like, "Oh, it's Daniel Radcliffe. It's clearly him."
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God, that was in my mind. I'm like, they're not showing his face. It's not Hugh Jackman.
Big ass motherfucker.
Yeah, I thought Daniel Radcliffe just got ripped, and then he turns around.
Hey, that's all.
And for a second, I was like, "Who the fuck?" And then Deadpool says, "Oh, it's Henry Cavill," and I was like, "Oh, was he in the running to be Wolverine at some point?" I did not know that, but I guess he was.
I mean, I guess he could play. I could see him playing a version of Wolverine.
I could see it.
I don't know if I would want him to or fit that role.
Yeah, yeah.
What a waste if that was his Marvel thing.
Yeah, it was funny when Deadpool's like, "We're gonna treat you better than those guys down the street."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Like, that joke was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then we see Wolverine wearing the brown and yellow fighting Hulk.
That was cool.
That was cool.
I hope one day we actually get to see the fight, but that was cool.
Thor.
We never find out why he's crying, but that was funny. That was one of the.
I guess that's Secret Wars.
I really like that joke. That would be funny if that comes back in Secret Wars.
I think exactly like the scene he's crying down with Dark.
Oh, it is. It is. They just replaced Deadpool with, or they just replaced Loki with Deadpool. Yeah,
okay.
It's the same sequence though.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite sequences of the movie, along with the opening credits set to NSYNC, which was also in X-Men 2. Do you remember that scene where Pyro's like, I don't like uncomfortable silences, and he hits the radio, and it goes, and it plays the music really loudly. Yeah.
So this didn't taint Hugh Jackman's Logan in a way, but it still
kind of did. It was funny how he dug up the grave at the beginning, like, because Deadpool doesn't, realistically, he would not care about preserving that movie's legacy. That's in character for him.
But it didn't, like, go back and change anything like that.
No,
it's still intact.
Logan still happened. That Logan is still dead. So I had no issue with that. And I love Logan. I don't know if I've ever said that. I love that movie. It's the best X-Men movie. If it counts as an X-Men movie.
I guess the
best Fox Marvel movie.
Team up, like actual official X-Men movie, I would say is Days of Future Past.
Me too.
But like, yeah, of all Fox X-Men movies,
I would say Logan. Yeah, Days of Future Past is my favorite X-Men movie though. But yeah, we'll get back to Logan in a bit. But anyways, so then Deadpool finds the worst Wolverine in a bar. I like that idea. I wonder if they got that from Everything Everywhere All at Once, because remember Michelle Yeoh in that movie, she's like the worst one of all the Evelyns. So I wonder if they took that. I thought about that during the movie. But yeah, no, Hugh Jackman was really good in this movie. He gets a lot of screen time. I would say he shines more in this movie than Deadpool does. Maybe Deadpool gets a little more screen time, but Wolverine, I think, has more substance to him as a character. Yeah, I know. I loved Wolverine in this film. And, he's really funny. He and Ryan Reynolds just have great chemistry. So I was happy with that. And he's violent too. He's more of an animal in this one than like regular Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Yeah, he's definitely more like animalistic in this one, which I liked. And
like in their first fight, he's actually fucking.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So I guess you could say this is more comic accurate.
Wolverine. The only difference is he's still too tall.
Yeah, but that's just
other than that.
an actor thing.
Yeah. So
The next cameo.
So the next I get to the Void, and then we see a man in a hood, and he is talking, and immediately I was like, oh, that's Chris Evans. And I was like,
you can tell from the voice.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, Captain America variant. But then he starts talking more, and then I'm like, oh no, he's Johnny Storm, because you could see the spandex below his coat. And then it was really funny how he's like, Deadpool's like, he's gonna say Avengers Assemble, and he goes, flame on. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. And he survived something in this movie that realistically I don't know if Johnny Storm could survive that. He like gets his neck broken. He's not even like hurt from it, and I was like, would Johnny Storm be able to like, I don't know. That was a little weird to me.
So I actually have a lot of problems with that.
Really?
Scene. Okay, number one, this is the second multiverse movie where I feel like a Fantastic Four member has just gotten the worst death, and I just treated it like a joke. Like, does Kevin Feige secretly hate Fantastic Four, or like the Fox versions of Fantastic Four? Like, it just seems so weird. Like in Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, fucking spaghetti.
After telling Wanda all of his friends' weaknesses.
Yeah, and then in this movie, Johnny just gets treated like a joke. Like, oh yeah, his life wasn't important. Just got fucking his skin all dismantled.
Yeah, I think all of the Fantastic Four are canonically dead now. Jessica Alba is dead.
Now I don't know if this Johnny Storm is
the same one.
The same one from the Fox, because his costume was different.
It's a little older.
He acted a little more like an asshole than Johnny.
He swore a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, swearing does not equal more comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
those movies. I just want to say those movies are garbage, both of them. I saw them both as a kid. They both suck ass. Anyways, keep going.
They're fun, and I don't understand the fight between him and Pyro. What exactly happened? He took his fire.
He was shooting his fire.
Yeah.
And then Pyro just blocked it basically, and he just pushed it back towards him.
And then that caused him to like not be flame on anymore.
I don't know. I would need to watch it again. I was a little confused too. I was a little confused too, but
so I felt like, you brought this really cool character just to be a joke at the end, and then like a second after that, Sabretooth comes out.
That was cool. Not Live Schreiber.
He's in it for like
a second.
10 seconds.
And then he gets his head cut off, which is a reference to X-Men 1 where he says, I'm going to cut your head off.
See, I think that's one of the problems I have now with multiverse movies, is that they're bringing back, I know this character, they're bringing it, and they're just there just to die or just to get a reaction. It's like, there's no purpose they have to bring that character back, other than just to have a reaction.
Some of them, yes. Like some of the ones in this movie, I don't have an issue with it when it's like a Toby and Andrew thing where they're actually like characters and they're important to the plot.
Yes.
You know, I don't have an issue when it's done that way, but I have an issue when it's like.
That's how I feel with the Illuminati scene in Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel like just not even superhero movies, like a lot of movies, like Space Jam 2, you know, or fucking like. I don't know, like other shitty, or to that Chip and Dale movie that came out, they just have these fucking stupid references.
Those are for kids, Brandon.
I don't give a fuck. That doesn't mean they have to suck. But like it's the same principle. They have cameos, right? And they don't do anything with them. They're just there. Yeah. And that's it. When you watch it again, you're not going to be surprised. So unless it's really funny or really substantial, then I don't know. It feels like junk food to me.
It's made for the theater reaction.
Exactly. Pyro was cool. I kind of wish he got more to do. I thought he would, but he really doesn't. He's just kind of there.
Yeah, that's a character that we bring like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, so then Deadpool and Wolverine.
You get Toad?
They get Toad to Cassandra Nova.
Oh, I mean like Toad the character.
Oh, Toad.
He fights with
Toad.
Somebody. The tongue. I think it was Blade that cut his tongue off.
I think so.
Well, anyways.
We'll get to Blade in a bit.
Yeah.
So then they meet Cassandra Nova, and Cassandra Nova's fun, but not a very memorable villain. Mm-mm. She's there. The actor was good, but the actual character I thought was pretty like typical.
They could have done so much more, but I feel like they didn't care about doing much more. They just needed a villain.
They didn't want to take the focus off of Deadpool.
Yeah, they just needed a villain. Which I guess this movie kind of had two villains.
Kind of, yeah.
I forgot his name, but the guy.
Paradox.
Yeah.
The guy from Succession.
Never seen it.
I've seen the first season, and it's pretty good. Anyways, so then we meet Cassandra Nova, and then we see a bunch of more. And I love my favorite scene in the movie was the fight scene between Deadpool and Wolverine in the car, because the first action scene is just kind of Deadpool like sort of just like defending himself from Wolverine, and Wolverine's just mad. Mm-hmm. But this scene they actually like Wolverine calls him an asshole, and he's like, "You're trying to save the world. You can't even save your relationship with your stripper girlfriend," which got the biggest laugh from me. Mm-hmm. And then Deadpool's like not joking around anymore. He just like he just got like legit mad and starts fighting him. And I really like that. It's really well done. It's creative.
Yeah.
The Greatest Showman starts playing for a second. That was cool. I've never seen that movie, but that was cool. And that was the best. That was my favorite scene in the movie, personally. Was that fight in the car? It was creative. It was funny. It was what I wanted this movie to be.
Such in a confined space.
Yeah, it's creative. Yeah. After that scene, there's also a samurai Deadpool movie or character, Nice Pool.
I didn't care for that character.
He has one funny joke towards the end, but yeah, I will agree. For the most part, I didn't really care for him. But there's one joke near the end with him that I thought was pretty funny.
How'd you feel about Deadpool?
I thought that was another joke that didn't work for me because Deadpool shows up like 3 times, mm-hmm. and it's the same joke every time, mm-hmm. And I was just like, Is that how you felt?
It's just in general, a lot of the humor, I'm just kind of like when they meet Nice Pool for the first time, and I think Nice Pool says something about Wolverine's suit,
mm-hmm.
and then Deadpool says like, oh yeah, he's usually shirtless, but since the divorce, he's let his body grow gone.
Yeah,
so I'm just kind of like,
I was like, whoa.
Why would you include that joke?
Hugh Jackman was probably okay with it.
Yeah, but still, it's just kind of like,
it takes you out of the movie a bit and it makes you sad. Or like, oh wow. I think it's one of those like, oh wow, they went there kind of jokes,
Like the jokes that Deadpool made that were meta about Marvel, I thought were funny.
Yeah, like where he tells him like, you're joining at kind of a low point in the franchise right now.
And when Wesley Snipes says Blade, like, I'll be the only motherfucking Blade, and Deadpool
like
the camera.
He might be, considering how.
So like those type of jokes I thought were funny.
Well, there's literally that scene at the end where Deadpool is basically telling the audience like, listen,
we're almost at the home stretch. Like we'll be right
well, no. He's like, listen, we tried the multiverse out. It's not really working out. Let's move on to something else. Like I really like that scene where he's basically like saying what we're all thinking. Like, yeah, multiverse is cool for a few movies, but it's kind of played out. Let's do something different.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that, and I really hope this is the last multiverse movie, which it's not because Secret Wars is coming out, and that's gonna be an orgy of fucking fan service. You get ready to see Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider and fucking Colin Farrell as Bullseye. They'll probably bring some dead actors back. It'll be fucked. But anyways, God, I'm really nervous about that movie. But back to this movie. So, after the fight with Deadpool and Wolverine in the car, they get brought back to this hideout, which had a Scarlet Witch statue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that meant, but
Yeah,
that
I
was
noticed that.
That was interesting. Not sure what that was meant to symbolize, but... So then we get the biggest cameo scene in the movie, which is... First you see Elektra, which we already knew about. I think that leaked like a while ago, that she was in it. Jennifer Garner as Elektra from Daredevil and Elektra, which are both very bad movies. I remember watching Daredevil and thinking, how does he jump from a 3-story building and not break his legs? That doesn't make sense. And then Bullseye kills a woman with a peanut. It's not a very good movie. And then when I watched Elektra, I remember thinking, why is there a bunch of white people in this area that they're in? You know, they're not in whatever. Anyways.
Never seen Elektra, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
The whole movie's in, like, I forgot what country it's in, but it's in like an Asian country, but there's just nothing but white people everywhere.
Oh.
It's very bad. Yeah. So that wasn't a surprise to me.
And then we get Wesley Snipes.
Then we get Wesley Snipes as Blade, which I never expected in a million years to
that got
see.
me a big smile. I'm not like, oh shit, they got him back.
I was like, wow. At first I was like, is that Wesley Snipes or is it somebody else? Because like, Wesley Snipes looks great in this movie. Like, he looks young. Like, I was like, God damn, he looks good. You know, for his age. Not to age shame or anything.
You could just fucking make another Blade with him.
Just have him do it. Like,
at this point.
Yeah, I thought he was great in the movie, and he has a line near the end where he says, "Some motherfucker's still trying to ice skate uphill." I've never understood what that line meant, but it's a great line. I'm glad they brought it back, and I'm glad to know that Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds patched things up.
Yeah, from the whole Trinity.
Yeah, so that's nice to know.
He still makes the jokes like, I still don't like you.
Yeah, that is funny. And then the third cameo is another one I never even thought about going in this movie.
Channing Tatum.
Magic Mike himself as Gambit. Now, if you don't know, Channing Tatum. I forgot about that movie. Get off my dick. No. Channing Tatum was supposed to play Gambit, and that movie was in development for like years and years and years.
2015, 2016.
Yeah, I remember it was announced like 2015.
Yeah.
And then it was canceled in 2019, I think.
Yeah, and then, yep.
It just never happened. But we finally got it, and
I'm glad you kind of didn't get that movie.
First off, I am glad they remembered that Gambit is Cajun, because they forgot that shit in X-Men Origins.
They did. But my God.
But my God, Channing Tatum is a good actor. I don't think he is my ideal Gambit.
That accent was...
There are times where he's talking,
like,
and like...
What the fuck did you just say?
Deadpool makes a joke of like, oh, he's hard to understand. But there's times where he's talking and you're supposed to understand what he's saying. And I was like, wait, can you say that again?
Yeah,
like,
I still didn't understand.
Yeah.
But he looked comic accurate. I mean, he looked like he came straight off the fucking cartoon.
You know, some suits work better in cartoon form.
Yeah, it's the pink that makes it look...
For me, it was the headpiece that I didn't like. It just looks too silly in live action. It looks good in cartoon and animated, but in live action, it just looks goofy.
I think it just looked too bulky. I think it has to be like skin.
I think Channing Tatum's just too big and tall to play Gambit. I've always imagined Gambit as a more like lean guy, you know. I can imagine Timothy Chalamet playing. No, that's a joke. Josh O'Connor, get him to play.
But yeah, those were, and I guess Johnny Storm was included in that team when he died.
Oh yeah.
So I guess those were the. Yeah. Were you expecting anyone else to be in this movie? That wasn't.
I wasn't expecting it, but I was hoping to see Colin Farrell as Bullseye because I think he's hilarious. I didn't really have any I knew there was going to be cameos, but I never thought like this person's probably in it or this person's in it.
I was expecting to see at least one Professor X and one Magneto, depending whoever it was.
You know what? Now that you say it, I was expecting Halle Berry as Storm.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was expecting because at the beginning of the movie they talk about Wolverine's backstory, how all the X-Men died, and I was expecting to show like a flashback or something, but they never did, which was like, oh, okay.
I did for a second thought we were gonna get a glimpse of the original X-Men in all their comic book accurate suits during Wolverine's flashback.
Life isn't that good.
For a second, I thought maybe we just get the original cast and everyone. Just for a second, like a photo, you know, something, because Wolverine said, like, I'm not wearing that costume. He never wore it for them.
Yeah.
But that means they did, so I thought maybe...
So they have all those costumes.
So I made me like, maybe just one picture of all of them. Maybe you could do that. And then, that didn't happen. That's too much wishful thinking.
That was disappointing. But, you know, I was okay with it. The next cameo was my favorite. I wouldn't say, it's not really a cameo, because she's an actual character. My favorite inclusion of this movie
X-23?
Was Daphne Keane as Laura, X-23.
The actual one from Logan.
Do you say X-23 or X-23?
X-23.
Really?
That's what they say in the movie.
Oh, I always said X-23. I don't know why. But I was really happy they included her because she was really great in Logan. Mm-hmm. And I like how this movie continued that story. Also, I follow her letterbox and her reviews are funny. She thinks American Psycho is a masterpiece, which, like, me too. But,
yeah, it was cool.
I was very happy to see her. And she was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit, at first, I was like, oh, you know what would have been cool? If she was also wearing, like, a yellow Wolverine suit.
I thought that's going to happen, but they have her in, like, her Logan.
Yeah.
Get up.
But
with the glasses.
At the end, when she puts those pink glasses on, I was like, okay, that's cool as fuck. I'm not going to lie. That's cool. I prefer that, actually.
But it would make sense because she is the one from this universe, from Logan's universe.
Yeah.
She's the same one, so it would make sense for her to have a yellow.
And I love... We're jumping ahead a bit, but I love how at the end she's at the dinner table. I feel like that was them telling us, like, she'll be back. Mm-hmm. She fits in. I would rather, instead of them recasting Wolverine, I would rather they just focus on her and have her be the new Wolverine, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. Is that a Tesla?
It's a Cybertruck.
Oh. Those things are ugly as fuck. Anyway, sorry. Oh my god. I've never seen one in person before.
Really?
No.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Who drives that shit? I'm sorry, I don't want to shame anybody, but yeah. No,
yes,
but I hope that they use her more in the future. She fits in with the Young Avengers, and I think they're going to keep Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So I would like if they kept her around too.
Till he's 90.
Till he's 90, yeah. Yeah, I love Daphne Keane in this movie. I wish she got a little more like fighting screen time. She gets a little bit. She's about to cut Juggernaut's head off, but then they cut away. I was like, oh, come on. You're R-rated. You could do that.
I am surprised they didn't kill off Electric Blade and Gambit.
I thought they did.
For a second, I thought they really would.
I thought they did, too. But then at the end, they're like, oh, no. Deadpool just says, like, oh, they're okay.
They could come back. Well, remember at the end, he's like, I had some friends help me out. Can you do something about it?
I think he just, yeah. He probably just sent them back to timelines that aren't destroyed or just their universe, yeah.
Well, I figured, like, well, they're not dead. There's always a chance of bringing back a Secret Wars.
Yeah, but I think they had Laura at the end dinner scene to really tell you, like, she'll be back, you know, which I'm happy about.
Or she'll be with Logan.
Yeah.
So Deadpool's still in his universe at the end.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. I thought they were going to find a way to, like, merge them or something, or just have Deadpool, like, permanently in. But no, he's still in his timeline, which is different.
Now he just has a Logan.
Yeah, pretty much. A different Wolverine.
So that means in Secret Wars,
they'll be in it.
Yeah, but so Deadpool won't be in with the Avengers.
No.
They'll have to call him.
They'll have to find him or call him, yeah. I did like the opening of this movie where he tries to join the Avengers and they just don't want him. Yeah. I thought that was funny. He should have asked again after they all got blipped. He might have had a better shot.
So I guess after that, how'd you feel about all the Deadpools?
Oh, the Deadpool Corps?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually saw a picture of it before I saw the movie, but I thought it was fake. I thought it was like fan made or something, and I didn't think anything of it. So when they showed up in the movie, I was like, oh, I guess it was real. So I was spoiled, but not really. But I'm not gonna lie. At that point, the movie was starting to lose me a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is starting to remind me of The Flash.
Because before that, it seemed like it was the end of the movie when she sent them back.
Yeah. I thought the movie was wrapping up too at that point.
And then they all came back, and then Pyro had his shit, so then she ended up being bad again and went to TVA. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's weird because that was a cool scene, seeing Wolverine put on his mask and him and Deadpool fight all the Deadpools.
That was cool. He pulled the mask down.
But I thought, like, I don't care about this. I don't care about these dead people.
There's no stakes here.
Can we just get to the TVA and finish this? And I think, like, after that scene, that's why Deadpool makes it joke, like, don't worry, we're at the home stretch. Like, this is the end of the movie. Like,
we know you're getting tired.
Yeah.
It was really just an excuse to have a scene where Wolverine and Deadpool fight a bunch of red shirts from Star Trek, essentially.
And it didn't matter because they all regenerated, so it's kind of like...
Well, I think that was a joke, though.
So it was, and then...
That made me laugh when they're like, we did it, and they're like, and then they just all just immediately come back. That made me laugh.
So I feel like, wow, as cool as that scene was, seeing them walk and living... like a prayer's playing, and
love that song.
He puts on his mask, and it's cool to see them fighting.
Yeah.
I am like, I don't care for this. Like, we didn't need this. And I feel like that's where, like, unfocused comes from.
Yeah. The whole movie has a sense of, like, let's not worry too much about the story. As long as it gets us to where we want to get, let's not worry about the logistics that much. When you do start to think about the logistics, you're like, wait a minute, you know? The movie's more about the payoff and the setup. Most of the setup in this movie is pretty fucking bad, which, by the way, contains way too much exposition.
I figure out, but I guess catch the voice of Lady Deadpool's Blake Lively.
You know, for a second I was like, is that Taylor Swift? Because it kind of sounded like her. I have no idea what Blake Lively sounds like, but I figured it was her.
Yeah, I mean, you don't ever see her take her mask off, so there's no way to know unless you don't know her voice.
I've never seen Gossip Girl, so I don't know what she sounds like.
And I didn't recognize any other voices from any other Deadpools.
So Matthew McConaughey was the cowboy Deadpool.
Really?
And Nathan Fillion was the flying head pool.
And who's the kid?
Ryan Reynolds' is his baby, and Ryan Reynolds' other kid was the kid pool. So that was kind of funny. I saw that in the credits, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I think the biggest laugh I got from the movie was when Nice Pool said, I can break the fourth wall too. And he looks in the camera and he goes, the proposal. And then that's it, like no joke to go along with it.
That was funny.
That made me, that got me. I thought that was funny. Especially since the proposal is like...
It's a good movie. Don't say it isn't.
Okay, I won't say it.
It's a good rom-com.
It's, yeah. I do not like rom-coms. But my mom loves that movie, so when I told her that when I got home, she was like, she got a kick out of that.
It's a good movie.
Good for her. Glad she likes her proposal. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, it's good. Betty White.
Yeah, so then we get to the climactic. Do we miss any cameos? We might have missed a few.
There's like you said, Juggernaut, the Azazel, whatever the fuck.
Oh, you know what I thought during...
There's like X-Men villains there.
Yeah,
like,
also the Russian from the Punisher was there.
You see him and miss.
Yeah, Blob was there.
Oh, apparently a Punisher, we don't know which one, and Daredevil were part of the group.
Oh, that was another good joke when he's like, my Daredevil died, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She's like, that's fine. Yeah. that got the biggest laugh from my audience, because, you know. But one thing I thought about was in the fight scene, they showed Blade fighting Azazel, and I thought, like, I guess Azazel's the one that looks closest to a vampire.
Yeah.
That's why they had Blade fighting him, so that was kind of cool. Was that girl supposed to be Psylocke with the pink whip? Because Olivia Munn played her in X-Men Apocalypse, right?
For a second, they showed one female, and she had like a purple strand. And then they never
say who she is.
Or put the camera on her again, so I was like, was that someone I was supposed to know?
I think it was Psylocke, but they recast her.
Did someone ever play Psylocke in the original X-Men before Olivia Munn, though?
I can't remember. I don't think so.
I feel like in the Brotherhood, there was like a shot of someone that was supposed to be Psylocke.
It might have been in The Last Stand or something.
I figured, like, okay.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
This movie's really fan based, so if you don't know your comic book shit, some things might go over your head you not really care about. So
Ibarra's not in this review, as you can see. He likes the MCU, but I don't think he's seen a single X-Men or Deadpool movie. And he asked me, he's like, would I like this movie? And I told him, like, I don't really think you'd get that much out of it. I think you'd like the action scenes, maybe, and maybe you'd think it's funny, but even then, a lot of the jokes are like. So, like, I don't really think people who weren't into Fox Marvel would get that much out of this movie, honestly.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But, yeah, I don't know if that was supposed to be Psylocke. Juggernaut's there, which this is off topic, but I want to say this really quick. It really pisses me off how in The Last Stand, the way they beat Juggernaut is that they have that kid whose powers he can take away other mutants' powers, and so Juggernaut doesn't go through the wall. But Juggernaut's not a fucking mutant, so it shouldn't work on him. He should just go through the fucking wall. But... that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to Deadpool and Wolverine. It really pisses me off. It does. I don't know why. And I never like that suit. It looks silly. It looks like a fucking dominatrix suit or something. It's just weird. But I don't know. But I don't know. I don't like it.
So you like the Juggernaut from Deadpool Deadpool 2 better.
Oh yeah, he was fine. I mean, he was just covered in a jumpsuit the whole movie, which was I didn't really like. It felt like they were just too lazy to make a costume. But I mean, it was fine. He was cool in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I have a complaint.
What?
So what the fuck happened to Cable and Domino?
Oh yeah, they're not in this, and they
not even really mentioned it either way.
No, I'm not really that sad about Cable, but I am kind of bummed. I like Domino, and I like that actress.
I guess there would make no sense for Cable to be in this movie because
Thanos.
Well, because he was a straight man in Deadpool 2, and you have 2 straight men.
Yeah, now you got Wolverine.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, what purpose would he serve?
He wouldn't serve.
What business
really.
would he be at Wade's party, just chilling?
He's off doing his own thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, I guess that makes sense. But I feel like Domino
would have been
Shadowstar, whatever the fuck his name was there, and
he was
died.
the only. Well, he brought him back at the end of Deadpool 2.
Oh, well, I'm saying like, why the fuck is he doing there? I feel like Domino would be there.
Yeah, he was the only actor that needed work. All the other X-Force actors were doing other shit.
One line.
Yeah, Terry Crews is doing something else, and Bill Skarsgård is playing Pennywise. Yeah, they're busy, man.
I did find he's always funny, but his roommate Blind Out.
Oh, Blind Out. Yeah, she's
You
hilarious.
have a fucking roommate, you call her Blind Out.
Oh yeah, you never think about stuff like that. I like how she and Deadpool are obsessed with cocaine.
She can't see shit, but she can see where cocaine is.
Yeah. There were a lot of good jokes in this movie that I'm probably forgetting. I did get a lot of good laughs out of it.
I like the one where Ren's too. He's like, yeah, I sold someone's heart medication. So she's like, trying to have me have a heart attack, motherfucker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was good.
So there are some jokes that
there's a lot of good jokes in this movie.
But there's some that I'm just like,
there was none that made me like really groan. Like there were some in Deadpool 2 where I was like, oh, that's not funny.
Like I understand Deadpool is supposed to have like the humor of like a little teenager, and some are funny and some are just flat out annoying. That's the essence of the character. But
I think the worst joke in the movie, it doesn't even involve Deadpool actually. It's at the end when Peter and the woman from the TVA are talking and they're like flirting and it's really like awkward. It's supposed to be awkward, but it's just that one was really like, ugh, this is bad. But yeah, but the climax of this movie I thought was really good. Deadpool and Wolverine go to stop Cassandra Nova. Who did you think her motivations just kind of came out of nowhere? Because she went from just wanting to rule the void to like wanting to destroy all of reality, and I kind of just thought like, where did that come from? You know, just kind of came out of nowhere.
I guess because she said she had a deal, right?
Yeah, and then they broke it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it felt like that movie was starting to wrap up, and then.
But it's like, no, we got another like 30 minutes left. I was like, oh shit.
So it was kind of like, yeah, the pace, the storytelling and pace was just unfocused in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is hard to think about because I feel like that was one of the strengths of the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
The way they told it going back and forth.
Yeah, I will say this: the movie was 2 hours long, and by the end of it, I definitely was like, that was a long movie.
It was barely over 2 hours, and it felt like
it felt long.
Yeah, so I was just kind of like,
it did feel long.
This was a lot of ways like a fun project. Everyone's hyped about it. It's a fun time. But overall, this movie it's got a lot of problems.
I wouldn't say it's a disappointment.
No,
but it is like
you can clearly see.
It's a mess for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess. I wouldn't even say it's messy. It's just a mess, you know.
The same thing is, I don't know if Ryan and I guess Sean Levy did that intentionally.
I just think they wanted to do so much that it
knew.
kind of. I don't know. I think they just wanted to be so much that the movie just kind of feels bloated.
Is that their decision or MCU Marvel decision?
I think it was more. Honestly, I think it's more of a Ryan Reynolds thing because I feel like Kevin Feige just kind of let them do whatever they want. So I feel like it's more of a Ryan Reynolds.
I heard reports like Kevin Feige wanted to put certain characters and certain things, and Ryan's like, no, you're not fucking touching my movie.
Yeah, so I really think Ryan Reynolds. Like, I think they wanted to satisfy fans and give them a lot of cameos, and at some point it just kind of got a little like tiresome. Like I think when the Deadpool core showed up, I was a little like, really, we're this late into the movie and we're introducing this, like, but you know, it was a cool action scene. I really liked the last scene where Deadpool and Wolverine are like sacrificing themselves, and they're like music's playing. It's a good scene.
Yeah, I get you.
About friendship, you know, remind me of me and Joseph. You know,
at that point you realize the internal battles they're really both fighting at each other.
They're both dealing with a lot of pain. That's what I always like about Deadpool is like
why they need to do this and why they do this.
Deadpool is the opposite of Joker to me. You know how Joker says, I used to think my life was a tragedy, but it's a comedy? Mm-hmm. I feel like Deadpool's the opposite, where he's like, you think he's a comedy, but really he's a tragedy. Because really Deadpool's a sad character.
Yeah, when Wolverine finally says all that shit, it
gets to him, because it's true. Yeah, he's like, you're a fucking loser, and nobody likes you, and you're pathetic, and you need attention. And he doesn't make a joke about it. He's like, he gets legit mad, because that's how he feels. I
mean, that's the thing. They say people who try to be the most funny comedic hide their pain through comedy.
I heard, like, I forgot who said it, but I remember somebody said, like, some comedian, he said, like, some of the funniest people grew up with the worst fucking lives. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, some of the funniest people had the worst childhoods growing up. You know what I mean? And I feel like that fits Deadpool's character very well.
They're trying to mask and cope with it through humor.
Yeah. I mean, Deadpool literally wears a mask, you know?
I mean, you think about comedy greats and it's kind of sad thing about Robin Williams.
Yeah, you know? It's true. And Deadpool's kind of a sad clown in a way. That's how I've always seen him, you know? And that part of Deadpool's character gets more focused in the first two, I think.
Yes.
Than this one.
And I feel like that's why I say it feels less of a Deadpool, because this is Deadpool and Wolverine. They both share the spotlight.
It's just as much as a Wolverine movie, I think. Maybe not just as much, but it's definitely like a Wolverine film.
It is two of them, not just one of them.
Yeah, it's not Deadpool with Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know? And I would say Wolverine shines. I think we said that, but Wolverine shines more in this movie. Really like that scene when he talks to Laura. I like that scene a lot.
I think it shines because he's playing a different version of the character.
Yeah.
So it's a little new. It's fresh.
Yeah, it is fresh. It did feel different from the other Hugh Jackman Wolverines. You know, like the ones we seen in Logan.
Because that character had been through so much at that point. What more could you add to that character?
This Wolverine definitely feels more like a loner, which is more like what Wolverine is in like the animated show and the comics and everything.
Yeah.
So I did like that. And I like the chemistry between Wolverine and Deadpool, how like they do hate each other, but they can get along when they have to. You know, and it's nice, and it's got a nice ending. And I know it's not, obviously, but if this was the last time we saw Deadpool, I'd be totally cool with that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not. He'll be in Secret Wars. He and Wolverine will be back. But
that would kind of not infuriate me, but I'd be questioning like, well, what was the point of this movie if we're not going to see him again? What was the point of bringing him to the MCU? If it was the last.
That's what makes me know that like there's going to be more, because Ryan Reynolds said this movie is Deadpool's entrance in the MCU. So it's like, okay, I don't think we'll get another Deadpool movie, but I think Deadpool will be in other movies.
Yeah,
like we'll see him in like
Wars
Avengers.
He'll have cameos.
Yeah, people thought he was going to be in Multiverse of Madness, which confused me. I have no idea what people thought.
Someone come up with the bright idea that like Deadpool should replace Stan Lee's cameos in every movie. So every time the movie,
that'd be funny.
You have a Deadpool cameo.
You don't even need Ryan Reynolds. You can just have one in the suit and he voices over it.
I would think that would work.
That'd be good, yeah.
I would much probably enjoy that than having.
Like he could just be like reading a newspaper or something and look up and see like a car chase, and be like, whoa, you know? That would be funny. I would like that.
Yeah, the biggest shock in this movie was
Blade.
No, that I thought at the end of this movie, like, okay, Deadpool and Wolverine are officially in the MCU now in that universe. That they were gonna
kind of, yeah.
Because like, I guess technically then
they're not in the universe.
Yeah,
but they acknowledge that the universe exists.
They're still in that Fox universe.
I did like that one scene in the TVA when they're watching Logan die and they're like mouthing the words, like they're really invested and they love Wolverine. Like, because if you think about it, the TVA kind of watches the MCU the same way we do. So like they would probably get invested in certain people just like we do. So I thought that was kind of funny. I really like the TVA. I like whenever they use it. I don't want them to overuse it, but I do like the TVA and Loki.
Timeline wise, does it take place after season 2?
Yes, it does. Yeah, because the woman who was running the TVA in Loki, she's like she gets promoted at the end of Loki.
Oh, okay.
So this is after Loki.
Okay. That's one of the big things about MCU now. There's no like real directives as to like where everyone is in the timeline and where we're heading to. Like it's kind of just all random, like when everything takes place. Yeah,
like it does feel like that, and I hope the MCU can have just a stronger focus going forward. You know what I mean? Like, because before we always knew it was building up to Thanos and the Infinity Stones and all that shit.
And we don't have that right now.
And now we know it's building up to Secret Wars, but like at this point, I'm like, I have no idea what Secret Wars is even gonna be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of got an idea of what they were building up to with Thanos. Like, okay, Infinity Gauntlet movie.
Yeah.
But here, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck they're.
We're in phase 5. The past 2 phases, we don't have no sense of direction.
Yeah, we kind of had one with Kang, but that's out the window now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I hope they can get back on track.
So yeah, I would say this doesn't put Marvel back.
But it was a fun time at the movies.
It was a fun time. It's been more enjoyable than the last couple Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Except Guardians.
Here's the thing about the MCU, right? After Endgame, I said, if you want to continue, I would just rather, instead of building up to shit, they just have a bunch of standalone stories to, like, maybe end off Thor's story or end off Guardian's story, and that would be fine. But like, they're clearly building up to something, but it's like, I don't know what the fuck they're building up to. You know what I mean? So it's hard to get excited. That's just how I feel about it. I would have been fine if, like, after Endgame, they were just like, all right, we're gonna make one more Thor movie to wrap things up, one more Guardians movie to wrap things up. You know, just finish off some characters.
They did.
But if they're gonna start a new phase and start a new saga, tell me what the fuck. Because we were in the multiverse saga, but I don't know if we're in that saga anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe
And it wasn't even that connected as we were promised.
No. I think the mutants are next, which is cool. I guess that's fine.
Well, what's the next project for Marvel?
Agatha.
Movie-wise, it's Captain America, right?
Yeah, unless you count Venom.
No. And after Captain America, it's
Thunderbolts.
Okay, well, we'll see how those 2 projects. Marvel kind of took a break this past year. This was the only movie.
I'm really happy about that. But Sony released 3 movies. So. Did you see Madam Web?
I did.
Holy shit.
Now that you mention it, I watched it like the other day.
Oh, what'd you think of that shit?
You know. So I watched the first 2 Venoms, Morbius, and then I watched Madam Web, and then we have Kraven coming out, and then Venom 3, right?
Yeah.
Those movies, if they were not labeled as comic book movies and associated with Spider-Man, I would think they're just okay, entertaining movies. But with the fact that they are associated with Spider-Man, it just makes them so much worse.
Yeah.
I would say the worst out of the first 2 Venoms, Morbius, and Madam Web is Madam Web.
Me too. I think Madam Web makes Morbius, like, look so much better by comparison. And that's saying something, because Morbius was
I still think
terrible.
the best out of all those movies is the first Venom, which is essentially like upgrade.
I think the Venom movies are bad, but I like them.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about them.
Morbius, you know, I still stand it by this day. Is better than Thor, Love and Thunder.
See, I just think Morbius is so boring. At least Love and Thunder.
But see, I don't see it as a superhero movie. I see it as a vampire.
But it is a superhero movie, so you have to.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they weren't associated with being comic book Spider-Man movies.
See, I just think it's just a boring movie, no matter what.
Really?
Yeah, I just think because watching it, I remember thinking, like, this doesn't really feel like a superhero movie.
I have my expectations so low because I heard how
I guess that's true.
Pieces of shit they are. So when I see them, like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. Like, I'm expecting Catwoman level of holy shit. Why was this movie made?
I think Madam Web is much worse than Catwoman. And that's saying something.
So,
Catwoman's very bad.
This was officially, I guess, a goodbye to Fox.
That's what it felt like. It felt like a celebration and also like a farewell, which was nice because we kind of grew up with those movies, like we grew up watching them.
X-Men and Spider-Man. Well, I guess late too.
Back in the day, like before Avengers came out, I had no idea. Like I knew like Iron Man and Thor, but I didn't really see it as like the MCU and then everything else. I just saw everything as like Marvel.
Yeah.
So I
secretly thought they were all connected.
I did too, and I thought I enjoyed them all as like Marvel movies. I would just like. So, I've always liked Marvel.
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Oh gosh.
What?
I
rewatched that.
Why?
Because there's nothing else on. I was like, I forgot how he tried to make it look like a comic book, but all the fucking.
Oh man. At least he tried to do something, I guess. Instead of making a cool movie about a green monster, he made some pretentious art film about letting go of your anger or some bullshit like that. But no, yeah. No, but yeah. I mean, even as a kid, there were some movies where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's bad. Like even as a kid, I thought. X-Men Origins was like, why does he have these Baraka blades coming out of his arms? Even as a kid, I thought that Daredevil was bad. You know, as a kid, I thought Daredevil was the lamest fucking superhero until his Netflix show came out. Because I only saw that movie, so I'm like, Daredevil's fucking lame. Fuck that character. But then the Netflix show came out, and I'm like, oh, this character kind of rips, actually.
Never mind.
Never mind. Daredevil's a badass. But yeah.
Yeah, this is officially, I guess, a goodbye to Fox. Because they had like a little,
that was
in the
cool.
credits, a little snippet of all the behind the scenes.
That was really cool. I like that. Yeah, they even had some stuff from Fan 4 Stick.
I was surprised by that.
Me too.
Everyone forgets that movie.
You know, I was kind of, now that you mention it, I was expecting someone from that movie to show up as a cameo. Like Miles Teller as Reed Richards or something.
I think I heard they're saving him for Secret Wars.
Oh, God.
I mean, if there's one character I'm going to bring for that, it's probably Michael B. Jordan, honestly, over Miles Teller, because...
It would probably be easier.
Yeah, Killmonger.
Yeah.
The connection there.
I was, you know what I did think about this movie? I heard this movie was like nothing but cameos, and then watched the movie, I'm like, there weren't that many. Like, it was a good amount. But then I thought to myself, like, this movie feels like, and I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing, but this movie feels like an appetizer to Secret Wars. In terms of the cameos and shit. I guarantee you Secret Wars is just going to be a fucking, oh my God.
You hear that trying to get Russo on his back?
Yeah.
To direct?
Well, no, that's a good idea.
I mean, if there's two motherfuckers that can handle that.
It's them.
They got the resume.
Didn't they want the director of Shang-Chi to do it?
I don't know if he can handle that. Something that big.
Shang-Chi is the most mid movie of all time. But anyways.
Yeah, overall, if 7 out of 10.
I like this movie.
But it is a mess.
It's a mess. It's got some pretty bad issues. But I think if you know what this movie, like if you watch the trailer and you think this movie looks awesome, then yeah. And I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks like a 7 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, yeah, I was right. Whatever your expectations are for this movie, I feel like they are. If you hate Deadpool and you hate the Ryan Reynolds humor, and you don't think you'll like this movie, shocker, you're probably not gonna fucking like it. But if this movie looks like the best movie ever made to you, then it might just be that for you. You know what I mean?
Do you think this is gonna be another Doctor Strange situation?
No.
He's just gonna shun it because it didn't have.
No. People, I've seen everybody online, like Marvel people online say they love this movie.
I would.
And I remember when Multiverse of Madness came out, everybody was just talking about how disappointed they were.
I would watch this over Multiverse of Madness.
I think I like them about the same. Honestly, I like Multiverse of Madness a lot more than most people.
I think I like this one because I'm just a bigger fan of the X-Men world rather than Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry, there's a bomb under my seat, but yeah. Did we miss anything? No, yeah. This movie, yeah. Final thoughts. This movie's good. I'd go see it. You don't need our fucking recommendation levels. You're gonna go see it no matter what.
$1 billion?
Yes, 100%.
For a rated R movie?
Yeah, Joker made $1 billion.
Oh shit, I forgot. Yeah.
And Oppenheimer was close. So yeah, this will make $1 billion. It's already made $100 million.
Do you think they'll make a sequel then? They'll make so much money, or?
No, I don't think they'll make a Deadpool 4, but they'll have them in other movies, and I guarantee you, it's not gonna be a surprise. Like let's say if Deadpool is gonna show up in like Thunderbolts or something, they're gonna put Deadpool in the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a surprise because Deadpool's a moneymaker. People like him.
Yeah.
And people that find him annoying.
Do you think we'll get to see that Wolverine versus Hulk one day?
I think so. Probably in Secret Wars.
Probably.
I just hope they do more with Laura, because Daphne Keane was in that Acolyte show, which I watched. Not a great show. I was gonna review it, but then I thought like I don't feel like it, so I didn't. Here's my review for the Acolyte. Fucking for a $200 million show, it looks like a fucking fan film, and the story was bland and boring. Characters were uninteresting. 4 out of 10. That's my review. But anyways, Daphne Keane was in that show, and I was excited, and she didn't do anything in that show. She does nothing. But so I hope she can do more stuff in the future. And I will say, it didn't really bother me, but I can see some people being bothered by the fact that all the supporting characters from the other 2 Deadpool movies get nothing to do. Especially Dopinder. I think he's funny.
Yeah.
But he's in the movie for like maybe like 2 minutes. And yeah, it's definitely more of an MCU movie than like a sequel to Deadpool. But it's still a Deadpool movie, So yeah, those are me and Joseph's thoughts. Overall, even with our complaints, I think we both really liked it.
Fun time.
Had a good time. I think I would like him more on rewatch, like because I know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like this movie. The next Marvel movie is going to be fucking Venom. The Last Dance. It's a great title. And
Does Craven come out first?
no, Craven. Did you hear what Sony said about Craven? So they said they want to release Craven on, like, I think it's like December 12th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because they said we no joke, their actual quote was, "We think people are going to spend the holiday seeing Craven over and over and over again." I can't think of a single good movie where I would do that with, you know? I can't remember the last time I saw a movie twice in the theater. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
In Quiet Place.
Oh shit, man.
What's the last movie I saw twice? I think it was Ninja Turtles, actually. The animated. Yeah, I saw that one twice. But that's it. Alright, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah. Joseph, I'll see you for some other movies that come out, probably. Maybe Alien or something. Yeah, Alien. That trailer looks badass. Played before my movie. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Man, 55 minutes. Because including the intro that I'm going to edit in.
It's on hour.
This is our longest review. Yeah, so don't listen to Arthur. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know? This is a good movie. And I'll see you later.